My daughter, who was then 4 years old, had just been in a road accident, sustained life threatening injuries, and all of that happened in a playground zone. So, security and safety was very important to us. We looked, we compared cities, and AIRDRIE afforded and offered us that sense of safety that we wanted here for our family. So, we moved to AIRDRIE. And since April of 2021, we have very much loved the city. And even though we have loved AIRDRIE, we have seen some things. I personally have seen some things that has made me decide to step up to run for council. Let me tell you a story about Alex. Alex is a gardener. Alex owns a large expanse of land. And of that expanse, Alex decided to use one plot to farm and garden. And he planted beautiful flowers and had a very strong support system for that one plot. And his flowers bloomed. And he was so proud of the hard work he had put in to see the results of all of that hard work. And he was excited and decided he wanted to expand. He decided to convert the entire expanse of land into a garden. But what Alex did not take account of is, as he's expanding, there's the need to expand his support system too. And Alex expanded. However, the weeds came. And Alex tried to take out all the weeds that came with that expansion with the same support systems he had used for the one plot of land. But it wasn't working. The weeds came stronger. And Alex was frustrated. Alex is us. We are Alex. And AIRDRIE is that land. Growth is good, but growth must be strategic. Growth must be managed sustainably. If we want to see what we have never had, we have to do what we've never done. Thank you very much. And I hope that you will join me this evening to begin to think of the ways by which we can make AIRDRIE, that land, grow strong. How we can keep the weeds out to make sure that we have everything we need to enjoy the good quality of life that we all deserve as residents of AIRDRIE. So I look forward to the conversations tonight. I look forward to hearing your questions, your thoughts, your ideas for the city. And thank you so much for making it down tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Simi. We will now open the floor to the audience members to ask questions. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hi there. Hi, Simi. Nice to be here. And hello. We're a small group, so I can say hi, right? I've lived in AIRDRIE since about 2005, and I was a teacher in École Edwards in 2008. I just realized one of my students or fellow, not in my class, but next door in kindergarten is here. And seriously, it's kindergarten. So I have seen the faces of AIRDRIE change and evolve, and I'm very excited about our city. I'm excited about this panel of candidates for City Council because we see a lot of different faces represented, and I think that's really exciting. And I want people new to AIRDRIE and even longtime residents of AIRDRIE to understand that that's what our city's about. And there are barriers to that. I think maybe first of all, just that we live in the province of Alberta, but also, you know, I think there's a way to have that flavor of AIRDRIE come through in City Council. So what I wanted to know if there are tangible outcomes that AIRDRIE residents can expect from your campaign focus on that. I know you have a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a big question, but I think it's an important one as our city grows. And we're just wondering, in your first term of office, how will those changes positively impact our community? Because I think people need to know that diversity and inclusion isn't just about others. It's going to build the community better for all of us.
Thank you, Madeira. And Shannon, that was an excellent question. You see, equity, diversity, and inclusion are not mere words to me. It's my life and my lived experience. And don't we all want the same thing? I mean, irrespective of our race, our background, our beliefs, our values, we all want the same thing from our city council. Looking and focusing on what the city council can bring to help drive the quality of life or improve our city, we are all striving for the same thing. We all want safer neighborhoods. We all want optimal healthcare. We all want to see our infrastructure develop and grow. We all want to see this equity, diversity, and inclusion reflect. I mean, that's one of the things I really love, deeply love about AIRDRIE, our diversity. AIRDRIE is a beautifully diverse city. And one of the things that I want to see is for all of the merit that comes with this diversity to be reflected in inclusivity. I would like to see people that come with experience, with skill sets, sit on advisory boards to advise city council on the ways by which we can improve our city. Because everyone from different backgrounds come with experiences that can help to shape and strengthen our city. So I believe that one of the things, measurable successes that I want to see will be access, will be transparency, and will be accountability. I would like to see that everyone has access to lending their voice to shaping our community. I would like to see people be given that opportunity to be a part of the conversation. And I would also like to see transparency, that the city is intentional about keeping an audit on how inclusive the city is in all of its planning and in all of its strategy. So that's what I'm looking to see in when I become city council. Thank you very much.
Do we have any more questions?
I have a few. I suppose I don't have to tell you I'm a senior citizen. My name is Alan Waslishin. I've been a resident of AIRDRIE for 22 years. I'm a little disappointed in our city council now. You never hear from them or anything else. But one of the questions I have is property taxes that concern us older people. Property taxes are always a sensitive issue. On one hand, the residents want them to be kept as low as possible, but on the other hand, the city needs revenue to maintain and improve the services, which we all like. If elected, would you push to maintain taxes at a current level, or would you believe in increasing necessary to keep up AIRDRIE's growth, and how would you justify that decision to the residents?
Thank you very much. Alan, you see, the subject of property taxes that you just touched is one that affects everyone, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your status. I am a professional, and I felt the strain of the rising property tax in 2025. And it's one question that has been very common because I do a lot of community engagement, and when I approach people at their doors or when I engage with people at community events, one of the common questions is, hey, what's gonna happen with our property taxes? The property taxes in 2025 spiked by about 9.2% compared to last year. And one of the first things I will lead with is the fact that in AIRDRIE there are only three legislated sources of revenue for the city to be able to raise revenue to keep up with the needs of the city: property taxes, user fees, and levies. No municipality in Alberta can go outside of these three sources to raise revenue. And because we are restricted to these three sources, property taxes is one of the major sources of revenue for the city. And we're growing so fast. As we're growing, the needs are growing. As we grow, we see the pressure and we feel that strain on our community services, our infrastructure. So that strain also is felt through property taxes, because in 2025, the city had to approve a raise in property taxes by 4.7% just to be able to balance the 2025 budget and meet the needs of AIRDRIE residents for 2025. So it's like we're torn between is the chicken and egg situation. How do we go about it? Do we reduce service levels? Do we increase property taxes? This is an ongoing conversation that will continue to evolve as the needs of AIRDRIE residents evolve. But one thing I do know is that we have competing priorities as a city. We have things that we need to see, we need to develop. But AIRDRIE residents should not feel like they are being punished for choosing to call AIRDRIE home. I strongly believe that we can leverage every dollar and plan smart. Strategic planning with our finances can help us to get to where we are without having to raise property taxes on a yearly basis. So that's what I want to bring on board. Fresh ideas on how we can plan our finances without having to increase our property taxes every year. Because let's face it, a lot of people are not seeing increases in their paychecks. If anything, we are seeing cuts. We are seeing people losing their jobs. So a lot of people have the fears and concerns that they will not be able to maintain their home. They might have to sell or move to a smaller municipality. But the reality is AIRDRIE is beautiful. It's somewhere we all want to be able to remain in. And that's why I want to bring my ideas to see how we can manage our tax dollars efficiently and effectively and keep everyone here and keep the quality of life good for everybody. I hope that answers your question, Alan.
We have time for one more question.
Hi, my name is Isha. I'm a realtor in AIRDRIE. So actually, talking to some of the points that you were just mentioning. So affordable housing at almost 100,000 people, how can council balance growth and affordability while maintaining quality in the neighborhoods?
Well, thank you very much, Isha. And you see, the subject of affordable housing is big for me. In fact, you will see that that's one of my mandates and vision for AIRDRIE, affordable housing. I came into AIRDRIE with a modest budget for buying a home, and AIRDRIE was able to afford us that home. Shelter is one of the primary necessities of life. Everyone deserves to have a roof over their heads. I was speaking to some youths when I was engaging with them, and their fears are that they will not be able to afford to buy a home when they are ready for it. So this is a very important topic, an ongoing conversation that we need to critically assess. One of the things that I know we can do to improve the cost of housing in AIRDRIE is collaboration with stakeholders. The city of AIRDRIE has been doing an amazing work collaborating with developers in AIRDRIE. And one of the things I really appreciate that council did was when they launched the 2024 to 2030 affordable principled action plan that centers around planning AIRDRIE to ensure houses are affordable. That aligns with my vision for AIRDRIE, and that's one of the things I would like to even work on further, on how we can ensure that we're collaborating with developers to include affordable housing units that caters to many demographics, including seniors, including youth, to ensure that they have what they need. We want to make sure there's a balance. We're not only looking at high-density housing approach, we're also looking at low-density approach. We want to make sure we're able to maintain the character of our city while still being able to afford to give everyone a roof over their heads. And I hope that answers your question, Isha.
Thank you very much. We will now move to the three-part panel. Alan, forgive me, but I can't, I'm going to struggle with your last name. How do we pronounce it? Washlishin. No. Okay. We're going to we're going to have Alan, Isha Malhotra, and Keisha up on our panel to answer some more questions. Well, actually, we'll start with Keisha.
Hello, Simi. I am part of the youth community here in AIRDRIE, so I will be representing them and asking questions related to that. My first question is, I'm particularly interested in how you plan to support AIRDRIE's youth, whether it's through increasing civic engagement, expanding recreational opportunities, or creating pathways for career development. What specific initiatives do you envision to help young people thrive in this city?
Thank you, Keisha. Now, support for youth. I think this particular question is very close to my heart because I have a youth as a child. My first child is a youth. And one of the challenges that AIRDRIE residents have echoed consistently to me, especially those who have teenagers and youth as children, is how there is not enough to support youth in AIRDRIE. Again, I'd earlier mentioned that our population is very fast growing. That sporadic growth has seen an increase in the number of youth that we have currently in AIRDRIE. And a wise lady told me that so many AIRDRIE youth are either not educated or not employed or not trained. And we have them in the tens of thousands here in AIRDRIE. That's an alarming statistics. And it supports the concerns that AIRDRIE residents have echoed to me about how there's rising youth crime in AIRDRIE. In fact, I'm not sure if anyone noticed that my signs on the highways have been vandalized. The RCMP is concerned that it likely might be perpetrated by youth, idle youth in our community. I do not want to agree that that's the future of our youth in AIRDRIE. Our youth are our future, and we need to ensure that they are empowered to be able to lead our community when we are ready to hand over the baton. So what I think we can do to support youth better in AIRDRIE is more collaboration. There are so many fantastic youth organizations here that are focused on empowering youth. One of them will be speaking to us today from PMAST SIYS. They have a youth legacy program. And that program that is government funded is set up to educate, empower, train our youth, equip them with everything they need to launch out, whether it's entrepreneurial skills, whether it is to connect them with mentors to find a job in their career path. They are empowering our youth. So better collaboration with youth organizations like that will help us to position our youth for success. That is one of the ways that I know we can support our youth. We also have another youth organization here, Off the Grid Youth. Oh, they do an amazing work with youth. It gives me so much joy to see the transformation that has happened in the lives of a lot of the youth residents here in AIRDRIE by virtue of the programs that they do. We need to ensure that these organizations are supported well enough to equip our youth well enough to take ownership of their lives. So that's one of the things that I'm looking to do when I become city councillor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Alan, we're going to you next.
I'm going to take this one a little bit further. I'm going to ask you a question about housing development in Airdrie. Uh, how many bylaws or building code bylaws that are on the books that are so useless, which drives up the cost of housing? Driving through the new construction areas, I love construction. I see nonsense going on that is ridiculous. That must cost at least $3,000 to $5,000 on a housing unit. Now, this does not going to affect me that much, but this young lady here has just, in my opinion, a very, very small chance of owning her own piece of property, which is a dream of Canadians. Is there any way that bylaws can be cut in the building industry?
Thank you very much, Alan. And I like the fact that you referenced bylaws because, I mean, that's what the City Council is primarily set up to do, to make laws that help us to shape our community. And I agree with you that there may be a lot of regulatory bottlenecks that impede the ability for developers to develop quality housing well enough. One of the things that I am hoping we can do is introduce or strengthening our bylaws to ensure that it touches on the core of housing, affordable housing. We want to make sure that while we are driving affordable housing too, we do not want to lose quality in the process. So I understand why we have those bylaws set up, to put checks and balances in place to make sure that when housing are being constructed, they are constructed well, and people are securing their own homes. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that we are giving opportunities to developers to be able to develop and construct housing that cut across the demographic. Like I had earlier said, we want to make sure that there is a mix of housing in our community for youth like Keisha to be able to afford a home. So that's one of the things that I want to bring in, a revisit and a review of our bylaws to ensure that it is evolving as AIRDRIE evolves. Thank you very much, Alan.
Isha, we will go to you next.
So this is a little bit from small business owners. So small business owners here in Airdrie sometimes feel weighed down by permits and fees and paperwork, and it makes it harder to get things done. So from your perspective, what should council be doing to make the process easier or to reduce some of the red tape for entrepreneurs?
Well, thank you very much, Isha. And I love that you touched on the subject of entrepreneurs because I myself am one. I run a thriving law practice here in AIRDRIE. And I'm not only an entrepreneur, I'm also a business lawyer. So I interface with a lot of business owners here in AIRDRIE, and they echo the same concerns that you just shared with me, how for businesses that are very regulated, there seem to be quite a lot of bottlenecks in getting the required licenses and permits to be able to run and function efficiently and fast. So one of the things, like I had earlier mentioned to Alan, is reviewing our bylaws. We want to make sure that we are in control. We want to make sure that we are checking consistently to see if we are set up for success, to be able to bring and attract businesses to AIRDRIE and also equip local businesses in AIRDRIE to thrive. And I hope that answers your question, Isha.
Keisha, we'll come back to you.
I'll be touching on our education system here in AIRDRIE. What role do you think the city of AIRDRIE should play in addressing our overcrowded classrooms? And how will you work with local stakeholders and provincial authorities to prioritize new school projects and ensure adequate educational infrastructure for our growing community?
Thank you very much, Keisha. And I like that you're speaking for school students. Coincidentally, 2 days ago, I went for my son's open house prior to the resumption of school. And you would not believe that my son does not have a classroom. Yes, my son is going to be studying from the hallway in a school. So not only does this affect AIRDRIE residents, it affects me personally. I hear you loud and clear when you say that our classrooms are overcrowded. The schools in AIRDRIE are overcrowded. I went into the open house and I even saw that the libraries are being transformed into classrooms because there's just not enough space for students. And one of the things I've done consistently in my campaign journey is to speak to people. I've been engaging with AIRDRIE residents and with stakeholders in the education sector. I've heard from principals, from teachers, from educational assistants, from people who provide support to those who work in the education sector. And they all say the same thing. There is not enough resources for those who work in the education sector. There are not enough books in the library. Each student is not funded enough by the provincial government. Now, before I continue, it's important to mention that education falls under the purview of provincial government. But that doesn't mean that the municipal government does not have a role to play, and that role is a role of strong advocacy. I am particularly, like I said, particularly affected by this. So you can be very sure that I will advocate as strongly as I possibly could. I mean, advocacy comes naturally to me as a lawyer. So I will lend my voice to this conversation. Alberta, AIRDRIE used to be the most funded city in Alberta when it comes to education for students. But now, AIRDRIE is the least funded municipality in Alberta. That's a reality. You could go check the statistics. So there needs to be a change. We need to see improvement. We need it. We're not just asking for funds. We need it. Just like me, there are other AIRDRIE parents whose children have to study from the hallways. Just like me, there are other AIRDRIE parents whose children do not have enough resources to support their education. So what then are we leaving with these children? If they do not have enough, if they are not empowered well with the right educational resources, what then are we leaving with them as they grow? Education is very important. So I'm very glad you brought that up, and you can be sure that advocacy will happen with me when I become city councillor. Thank you.
Alan, you're up next. I do want you to do another one.
I'm going to do this one off the cuff, and it comes down to education and home taxes. I've got 4 grandchildren. I believe very deeply in education. Looking at my sheet here, I pay property taxes, and I think the biggest portion of my tax bill goes to education. Now, I've educated my children. I'm putting a few bucks into the grandkids, too many. But is there any way that seniors could get a slight break on the education, not total, but a slight break on the education tax that we pay to the province? And this may be a little bit out of your realm of getting something like that done.
Thank you, my dear. Well, Alan, I'm glad that you've been paying attention to your property tax assessments, because like you rightly said, a portion of the taxes you pay goes to the province for education. But guess what? Council is not in control of what we have to pay as cuts to the provincial government. The provincial government sets the percentage of property taxes that should go to the provincial government for education purposes. And I really do wish that it's possible to review and say, for seniors, this is how much you pay, for young people, this is how much you pay, but City Council is not in control of that. But I hear you when you say that tax breaks from time to time may be required. Again, our city is evolving. So there will be constant needs to revisit all of these things and see whether there's need for stronger advocacy in requesting from the provincial government on how we want our percentages to be set, or if we think that it's ideal enough to support the resources that we need from the provincial government. But that was a very beautiful question. Thank you so much, Alan.
We're going to do one more question, and because we have some new audience members, I'm going to turn it back to the audience to ask some questions to Simi.
Hi, okay, so what is your proposed property tax allocation split then for non-residential and residential properties in Airdrie? And how would this balance support local businesses while also considering new needs of homeowners?
Thank you very much. So, Isha, for property tax allocation, that's a very burning topic, because the same way residents of Airdrie are required to pay taxes is also the same way that non-residents, business residents of Airdrie are required to pay taxes. And then we then begin to have a chicken and egg situation. If we talk about the fact that we do not have enough businesses in Airdrie, and Airdrie is so reliant on Calgary. A lot of people want some fine dining and they have to go all the way to Calgary for that, or a lot of people need jobs and there are not enough jobs in Airdrie. We then begin to think about how we want to attract more businesses or encourage more local businesses to spring up in Airdrie. So there needs to be a strategic balance on how we tax non-residents. And by non-residents, I mean businesses. We want to make sure that there's a good balance. We keep the taxes as low as possible for businesses without compromising and putting the burden on residents of Airdrie. So that balance is what I'm looking to strike when I become a city councillor. Thank you, Isha.
I want to thank the panelists for their great questions, and I hope that gave the audience a broader understanding of what Simi stands for. And now I will open it up to questions from the audience. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, I do have another question. I really appreciate that your platform lists advocacy. Because I've been in a few spaces like this and there are questions and concerns that aren't in your jurisdiction. So I really appreciate that you acknowledge that this isn't in my control, but the advocacy piece is really big. And I understand that there is a division of the city that is committed to advocacy. And is it okay that I'm asking? I don't know how that works, because I feel like I'd like to direct people when it's like, well, that's not, like a hospital is not municipal, but here's where you can advocate for that. Because it fascinates me. That's the branch I really love.
And thank you very much, Shannon. You see, this topic you just touched on is one that I think is very important. I deeply appreciate the work that council has done so far. One of the things that I know I want to build on is better sensitization and education for Airdrie residents, because like you just said, a lot of Airdrie residents are not aware of the scope of city council, where we start, where we stop, what we can and cannot control. And it's important that Airdrie residents are aware so that they know where to channel their frustrations or where they need to channel their advocacies. One of the things that fall outside the scope of provincial government is healthcare. Healthcare falls under provincial government's mandate, not municipal government. And it doesn't matter how much money we may have as a city. We cannot begin to construct our own hospitals. We can't, and we shouldn't. But in the months of engagement with Airdrie residents, that's where I realized that a lot of Airdrie residents do not know this piece. And that's where I begin to educate them, to let them know, hey, join us in the advocacy. We need to strengthen our advocacy when it comes to improved access to healthcare. So yes, I am big on ensuring that AIRDRIE residents understand that what council can do is advocacy. But I also know we can do it well. Talk about healthcare, for example. Do you know that AIRDRIE is the largest municipality in Alberta without its own hospital? That's a fact. Check it up. AIRDRIE is the largest municipality in Alberta without its own hospital. In the 2025 population census, we hit 90,000 and some change. And look at Deedsbury, with a population of about 4,500 people, they have a hospital. Look at Three Hills, with a population of about 3,500 people, they have a hospital. Look at Olds. Olds is just 10 minutes away from Deedsbury. They have a hospital. And I've been advocating. In January, I wrote a letter to the Minister of Health, Minister Lagrange, on how we need improved access to healthcare. I have my lived experiences. I'm currently covering burn scars all over my right arm and back from a burn injury I sustained in December of 2023. I went into the urgent care center for immediate medical attention, as I deserve. But I wasn't seen until 8 hours after. 8. And when they did see me eventually, the amazing nurses who worked there and doctors, they did their very best to dress my wounds. But that was what they could do. They still had to refer me to the plastic surgery burns unit of Foothills Medical Center. And the surgeon who was assigned to me shook his head and said, only if they had sent you earlier, because that 8-hour wait was enough time to cause permanent damage to my skin. So those scars are going nowhere. They're here to stay because of the 8-hour wait. But guess what? I've heard stories, horror stories of AIRDRIE residents. Someone saw my advocacy for healthcare online and reached out to say, finally, someone is speaking loudly and strongly about this. He lost his mother to a life and death situation. She had to be transported to a hospital in Calgary, but never made it there because of the commute time. The 30-minute time was just too much. And that was it. How many more lives have to be lost? I was advocating, thank you very much. I met an AIRDRIE resident by a driveway, and we got speaking. She was sitting in a wheelchair, and she told me about how she was experiencing pain in her ankle and went into the urgent care center, and it was dismissed as a minor sprain, and she was told to come back maybe in a couple of days or 3 days from there if the pain worsens. And as she got into the Uber to take her back home, the Uber driver could tell that this has to be more than a minor sprain. She was in too much pain. And 2 days after, she could not bear that pain, so she went to Deedsbury. Guess what? A lot of AIRDRIE residents do not go to our urgent care center any longer. They all go to Deedsbury. You too? Look at that. She went to Deedsbury. And when she got there, they realized she was suffering something very chronic, but it was too late. They had to amputate her leg. So now she's living with only one leg. And she's bitter at the healthcare system, bitter at the municipal government for not advocating enough, bitter at the provincial government for not supplying enough. How many more limbs have to be lost before we strongly advocate for what we truly deserve as we grow in our population size? And that's where I step in. I will advocate strongly, loudly, and clearly until we see improved access to healthcare in AIRDRIE, because we deserve it. We deserve it. Thank you very much.
Do we have any more questions?
I am really hoping that advocacy is not what qualified Three Hills and Deedsbury for an hospital. Could you assist me with what qualified them and not us?
It's great. I'll take the work.
All right. Well, Leighton, thank you so much for that very important question. And that brings me to one of the kickbacks that I have received in my advocacy for better access to healthcare in AIRDRIE. One of the things that I hear back is, oh, those hospitals in Three Hills and in Olds and in Deedsbury are old hospitals that have been constructed since the Peter Lougheed year in the 1980s, when there was a massive construction of hospitals around Alberta. That's what qualified them, not advocacy. But how about Sherwood Park? Sherwood Park is just 10 minutes away from Edmonton. Edmonton has 9 hospitals. 4 of them are major hospitals. But Sherwood Park just got a hospital in 2014. How about that? That's not the Lougheed year. So yes, advocacy plays an integral role in the access we want to see. And again, I will continue to advocate until we see that improved access. Thank you, Leighton.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Simi, I've heard so much about advocacy from you today. I've had my little time in being a member of the UCP for a while, very active. Advocacy is good, but it needs to be strategic. So the question I will ask you is this. The resources we need for all these lofty ideas and dreams, they are not within the council level here, then the provincial level, then the federal levels. So what's your strategic plan to interface with people, particularly our MLA and the federal representative in AIRDRIE, to see, because we are talking about everybody struggling for resources. So the resources may not go to the council that needs it the most. Probably go for political reasons or for reasons which we in this room may not be privy to other places. So what's your strategic plan in your advocacy to ensure that you have a consistent, well-grounded channel to interface, interact, and persuade other members of government beyond every council to get us what we need?
Thank you, Madura. And thank you, sir. What's your name, your first name? Tunde. Okay. Tunde, thank you for the question about how can we plan strategically when we speak to advocacy? Because you are right. It's not enough to go on social media and shout and scream and yell as loudly as possible about how we need access or how we need better funding. That's not enough. But one of the things I know we can do is we can present data. When we are building collaborations with stakeholders at the levels that matter, case in point, the provincial government that is responsible for healthcare in Alberta. When we get them into that room to have that dialogue and conversation, we want to make sure it is backed up by fact, proven facts and figures. AIRDRIE is no longer that small bedroom community that we used to be a few years down the line or back some time ago. AIRDRIE has rapidly grown. Every year we welcome at least 5,000 new residents into AIRDRIE. And it is no longer sustainable to expect that we will be reliant on hospitals in Calgary or have to drive 45 minutes to Deedsbury for urgent medical situations. So when we present that data that shows the sporadic growth, and AIRDRIE will continue to grow, our close proximity to Calgary makes us that next best alternative to Calgary for those who want to live in or around the big city. So we will continue to grow. But strategy is where we're going to go strong. Like you rightly said, we want to make sure we're looking at that growth figure. and presenting it to the government to see how 90,000 people cannot rely on hospitals in Calgary. It has to be an ongoing dialogue backed with proven facts and figures, and that's what I intend to do as City Councillor. Thank you very much, Tunde.
I know we had one more question over here.
Hi, Simi. My name is Ash. So I have one question about the transit, like a bus system. I just see a lot of time people are waiting for bus hours. Calgary is no good. What about this? Thanks.
Thank you, Mandora. And thank you, Ash. So your question is around busing system and transportation within AIRDRIE or in Calgary? Okay. That's right. Thank you very much. No, that's a very important question. And you're not the only one who's asking that question, Ash. I get questions from AIRDRIE residents in my official email. Just yesterday night, I got one from a parent whose child is about to wrap up high school and will soon need to begin to go to school in Calgary or maybe out somewhere around, and they're concerned about transportation, mode of transportation, how accessible public transport will be for their child. They talk about how even in high school, their child have to walk long miles to reach a bus stop or to wait in the bus stop for so long before a bus arrives. And even in the evenings, there are peak times where you see that LO to go. Yes. The bus stops at some point and then the child is stranded. These are valid concerns that AIRDRIE residents are sharing. And that's again attributed to our growth. We are rapidly increasing and our Hello to Go is now beginning to prove not sufficient for our population size. So there's need for strategic planning around transportation. It's a dire need for us as we grow in AIRDRIE. We need to have a more robust transportation system that feeds us locally inside the cities and also helps us to connect to the city Calgary, because a lot of people work in Calgary. A lot of people live in AIRDRIE, but they interface a lot in Calgary. They either go there for work or because they have friends. We need stronger transportation systems, and that's one of the things that I'm looking at when it comes to our community support resources, because that's one of the things that I'm looking for us to improve on in AIRDRIE. The city has done a tremendous job so far when it comes to trying to improve on our transportation system, but we need to, it's an ongoing dialogue. We need to look and revisit our numbers as we are growing. What we have, is it sufficient for our growing needs? So that's where I step in, to be able to look at it more holistically and ensure that we are meeting the needs of AIRDRIE residents as we grow. Thank you.
We have time for one more question, so if anybody has a question, now feel free to ask. Nobody? Next, I'm going to bring up Kushi to come and let us know about the youth program.
Thank you. Good evening. Can everybody hear me? We're good? All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kushi Chauhan, and I'm 23 years old, been a resident of AIRDRIE for the last 20 years, and I am here to speak on behalf of PMAST, which stands for Peer Mediation and Skills Training, to share about our Youth Legacy project here in AIRDRIE. Youth Legacy is a free government-funded program which is designed to support youth between the ages of 12 and 29 years old in AIRDRIE. At PMAST, we are providing communication as well as conflict management training. We are offering these practical tools that help youth with speaking with confidence, building strong and healthy relationships, as well as maintaining them, navigating challenges at home, school, work. We're teaching youth their values, who they are, to build that confidence and that motivation to make a difference. Once we do our 2 days of our conflict management and communication training, we then have partnered with SIYS, Struggle is Your Success, an organization who offers a 3-day Dream It, Plan It, Build It program. This gets youth to think about their dreams. What do they want to do? What are their passions? What are their hidden talents? Some of these youth don't know, and we are here to, ignite that spark. The Youth Legacy Project, oh, I just lost my entire script, sorry. The Youth Legacy Project believes in it takes a village to raise a child. So we have created that village. We have partnered with local organizations to offer youth all the support that they need, whether they're struggling with bullying, relationship issues, with family, conflict, you name it. We offer free counseling, equine-assisted healing, helping with resources for bullying, addiction, and mental health. Whatever it is, we are offering youth the support at no cost to the youth. We will fund the entire process for them. We're here because we know one thing, that youth feel supported, confident, and inspired when they're built with stronger futures and built together with a strong community. Now, if you're a parent, a community member, a potential partner, we'd love to set up a meeting and chat and see how we can benefit youth together. Together, we can make sure every young person has the access to the tools, mentorship, and support that they need to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kushi. Please give Kushi a round of applause. And Kushi leads the Youth Legacy Project that PMAS and CIYS have come together to form. This is something that I support wholeheartedly and with every fiber of my being, because like I had mentioned earlier when I was speaking, the youth are our future and they will be taking over from us. But you cannot give what you do not have if they are not empowered. How do we expect them to thrive? How do we expect them to lead? So if you do have a youth in your life, you want to enroll them for this program. Again, it's free. It comes at no cost to you, so why not? Thank you so much, Kushi.
Oh, we have a question.
It's just not a question, it's a comment. I was just saying, did you say you are 23 years old? Wow, you speak very maturely, yeah?
Thank you. I now would like to call upon Stuart Seeley, a local AIRDRIE resident and author, to tell us a little bit about his experience with Simi.
Let's give her a great round of applause. She's doing a fantastic job. Awesome. Thank you so much, Simi. It was funny how I met Simi. I was at home, funny story. I was at home watching a movie around 7:30, and I got this urge to have a bag of chips. And I'm going, I just got in from work. I'm not going to go to the dollar store to grab a bag of chips, you know? But I believe in divine appointments. And I had this urge, and I decided I'm going to go and turn off the movie, and I went. And as I'm at the dollar store, I'm in the aisle walking down, and I see Simi there, and I'm like, hey, how are you? We just got talking. She says, I'm great, how are you, you know? And we got talking, and I said I just moved back to AIRDRIE from Calgary. I lived in AIRDRIE about 9 years ago when it was less populated, and now it's just like 90,000 people. I'm like shocked, you know? So we began to have a conversation, and I just said, I love it out in AIRDRIE. I came back here. And we started talking about a vision for AIRDRIE, and I said, we need a hospital and all that type of stuff. And then she said, well, I moved here in 2021 with my family. You remember that, Simi? And we got talking kind of simple like that. And then she told me she loved AIRDRIE and had a vision for AIRDRIE. So then I said, oh, so what do you do? She says, well, I'm a lawyer. And I said, well, who doesn't need a lawyer? You know, could I talk, you know? And then she said her husband's a police officer. I said, who doesn't need a police officer, right? So kind of like, great. So then she told me she was running for city council. I'm like, and I like all that politics in a good way, right? So we got chatting, and I said, I don't know, we should stay in touch. You have a card? So she gave me her card. I think it was 2 days after, I called Simi. I said, I want to get involved. I'm not sure if you thought I really meant it. You probably did. I don't know. Anyways, I called her and I said, I really want to get involved with what are you doing, the city council and all that type of thing. And I called her. She said, you really want to? I said, absolutely. So that began the whole entire process. And I was excited about your vision. I was excited that you had the credibility. You had the connection with the community. And I thought, you know, I just don't do anything just like that. You know, I'm busy, I'm a writer, I sell cars, all kinds of things. So I got in touch with her and I said, I want to be part of that campaign. I believe in this. And I'm a kind of person that you can't be doing the same old, same old. And as a community, we want things done, but we know that sometimes in a community, it's business as usual. It didn't sound like that when I was speaking to you. And I said, you know what, I need to get involved. So that's how I met Simi, amazing person. I completely back her path and her journey to this campaign. And I can't think of a better person that I'd like to see there for AIRDRIE. Everything takes time, we all know that. But if we never start, we'll never get there. If we want something we've never had, we've got to do something we've never done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. That means a lot to me. And yes, I do remember that conversation in the aisle in Dollarama. And yes, I am one person who is very passionate about sharing my vision at every given opportunity. A lot of us chose to call AIRDRIE home for many things. For me, it was the sense of safety. That was top of it for me. The fact that I got into the city and I saw that citywide, the residential speed limit was 30 kilometers an hour. I could not believe my eyes. I was coming from a city where the speed limit in every residential area was 50 kilometers an hour. And that meant a lot to me. It told me that AIRDRIE is committed to keeping its residents safe. It's important to me that AIRDRIE continues to stay safe. And as a lawyer, married to a law enforcement officer, I do know a thing or two about safety, and I hope to drive change and improve safety in our community. So thank you so much for speaking to that, Stuart.
Thank you, Simi. Unfortunately, we had a few members of AIRDRIE, the residents, that weren't able to make it today, but they did want me to speak on their behalf. So I have a couple that I will mention this evening. Good evening. My name is Muriel Ochi, and my husband's name is John. We have lived in Wind Creek Terrace, Southwest AIRDRIE, for the last 14 years. We're sorry that we're unable to attend tonight, but we would like to say a few words about Simi. We first met Simi in the summertime when she came to our door and introduced herself. Simi told us that she was running for a position on AIRDRIE City Council. This was the first time any candidate, or councillor for that matter, had come to our home. Simi is like a breath of fresh air, and she listened intently to any concerns we gave to her. Simi has also shared her vision for a better and safer AIRDRIE as our main concern was speeding in the 30-kilometer zone around our home and Chinook Winds Park. Simi has our vote for sure in October, and we look forward to her being a great addition to AIRDRIE City Council. John and Muriel Ochi. And the next one is, hello, I am Fliha Ahmed. As someone deeply committed to creating positive change and fostering inclusive communities throughout welcoming AIRDRIE and Rocky View Immigrant Services, I believe that diverse voices are essential to shaping the future of our city. The unique perspectives and lived experiences of individuals from all backgrounds help build a more equitable and welcoming community for everyone. These areas are rising voices stepping forward with courage and vision. The destruction of her election signs was not only unfair, but directly affront to the values of inclusivity and respect that we strive to uphold here in Airdrie. Let us stand together in support of all candidates who are stepping up to serve. By encouraging participation and celebrating diversity, we move closer to a brighter and more united future. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to thank Fleha and Muriel and John. I remember them so much. I remember everyone that I meet at their doors. For some reason, God has blessed me with that kind of memory. If I don't remember their names, I remember their faces. And the next time I meet them, I'll say, hey, I met you before. And they say, yes, you are at my door. Or no, oh, we met you at Genesis Place at the Lifestyle Show. It's such a beautiful experience connecting with Airdrie residents. It's particularly because it's an opportunity for me to listen, deeply listen to the needs of the people that I'm looking to serve. I'm one person who strives for excellence, and if I'm doing this, I have to do it right. And that's why I believe that City Council needs to champion policies and initiatives that reflect the true needs of Airdrie residents, not what we think that Airdrie residents need. So I'm so thankful to Muriel, to John, to Fleha, and to every Airdrie resident that has given me an opportunity at their doors to hear their concerns for Airdrie. Together, we're going to shape a stronger community. So thank you all so much. And thanks to everyone who came here tonight. It means a lot to me to see you here. Thank you.
And next up, we have Simi's amazing campaign manager to say a few words. Teslim?
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Another round of applause for yourselves, please. Not for me, but for yourselves. So I have been given very difficult tasks this evening, and I know we have we have spoken about tax, we've spoken about money, but I have been given an additional difficult challenge to ask you to donate to Simi Obasan's campaign. So I wrote down a speech, so I'm going to read it so that I do not forget. Honestly, in a world where you could be at home watching Netflix, you could be watching a hockey game, you could be, the weather is good today, you could be with your family, you chose to come here. It means that you do not only care about Simi Obasan, you also care about Airdrie, and that is exactly the spirit that would power Simi Obasan's campaign. So thank you very much. So now let me get to be real with you. Campaigns are they're a little bit like family road trips, right? You need direction, you need snacks, and most importantly, you need gas money. Simi has the vision, she has the energy, but to get the message across to every single door in Airdrie, we need that gas money. And in campaign, gas money is equivalent to donations by every single person. So think of it this way. If everyone just gave up a cup or two of coffee this week, how much is Tim Hortons? $2, $3, whatever it is. If you gave up maybe a couple of cups this week, we could power this campaign all the way to the city council election. And maybe we'll still have enough left over for Timbits at the victory party. So here's my ask. Help us get Simi across the finish line. Every dollar counts, big or small, $2, $5, $20. And the best part, it is super easy. Just send your donations to the email address that is up. So I'm going to call it out. So it is S for Sierra, I for India, M for Mike. If you could go there. Yes, this is it. So it's Simi Obasan 7. I do not know how that 7 came about, but please include it. It's the number 7. simiobasan7@gmail.com. And my last word says, remember, politics does not change because we sit back and hope. It changes because people like you and I get up, laugh a little, believe a lot, and chip in to make it happen. So let's do it together. Let's make sure that Airdrie gets this leadership it deserves in Simi. And when Simi wins, you can proudly say, yep, I foiled that campaign. Literally. Thank you, everyone. And now, please go ahead to donate before your phone battery dies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Teslim. I have the most awesome campaign manager. Teslim has been one of the fuel for this campaign, and I'm really deeply thankful for you. I just had the president of the Filipino community walk in, and June, Rose, and the Filipino community is well represented. Hi. Thank you so much for coming. I mean, they just had their community summer fest this afternoon, so it's so exciting to see you still make out time to be a part of this. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much for coming. And oh, by the way, as you're donating, you may also want to pick some merch there. We have keychains, we have pens, and we have a bumper sticker if you want to flaunt that campaign with pride on your vehicle. To make it easy for you to donate, there are price tags to it, so that might be a way for you to go about it. I don't know what's next on the agenda.
Yes. June, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Hi. Hello. Sorry, I'm so haggard, so tired because of the Filipino AIRDRIE Summer Fest. Sammy, you're there. Have some pure.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Simi, for inviting me here and to keep some points for you. Hello, everyone. My name is June Martin. I'm the president of the Filipino AIRDRIE Association group for 14 years. So, and I'm also the vice president of Alberta Pilcan Leaders Community Association all over Alberta. I know I'm stuck in this position simply because no one wants to take my place. I come to know Simi when we were struck by a house fire last February. So our house got burned. And last February this year, me and my wife are so shocked when the receptionist of Canalta Hotel told us to come down at the lobby, and there we met Simi. And the rest of the Black community too. They are there, extending their sincere support to our family. From there on, Rose and Simi become sisters. We will never forget, and we are so grateful for all the support, Simi, to your community, for all the support and love you have given us. I believe that given a chance with all Simi's positive platforms, she will surely be a great leader. This creates a very good impact to the city of AIRDRIE. Thank you. We will support you.
Thank you. And I would like to quickly speak. Thank you so much, June. I would like to quickly speak to how I met June, as he has mentioned. Last February, news came to me that a house in Stonegate had been burned down by fire. And as a community leader, it touched my heart. I did not know who it was. I did not know their background, their race, their beliefs. But I felt like compassion knows no boundaries. And everyone is our brother and our sister. And everything we possibly can do to help, we should do. So I gathered my community together and said, we need to support. We need to do what we can. The news had it that they left without anything, not even their phones, not shoes. That touched my heart, deep to the core. And we came together, put together what we could, and went to the hotel that they were living temporarily. And that's how I met June and Rose. And we got talking. And I introduced myself then as the president of the Black community, no longer the president, I'm the immediate past president. And he said, oh, by the way, I'm also the president of the Filipino Association. And I was like, really? And since then, Joan has been such a strong support system for my campaign. Joan has brought everyone together in the Filipino community to support my campaign. They have been loud about their support because they see my heart. I'm one person who believes in brotherhood. I believe that we are one, irrespective of our race, our color, our creed, our values, and our beliefs. We are one. We want the same thing, and that's a better AIRDRIE. And I hope we can work together to make that happen. Thank you so much, Jen.
So we're just about to wrap up this evening. So I'm going to get Simi to do her closing remarks, and then we will wrap things up.
Thank you. What's there to say? I mean, all has been said. But one thing I will leave you with is the fact that you matter. Your voice matters. Not everyone will run for city council. It's going to be crowded. If everyone here wants to be on city council, oh, that's going to be crowded. But you can still ensure your voice is heard. You can still ensure that your needs are taken account of. You can still ensure that you're giving audience, that you're seen, and that you are heard. And I'm here to make that happen. So join me. Join me in this journey. Join me to ensure that we build a stronger and safer AIRDRIE. One that offers us safer neighborhoods, optimal healthcare, support for every demography, seniors, young ones, and everyone in between. One that offers us affordable housing, and one that is inclusive in its diversity. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. And see you now and when I become city councilor. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I hope this was informative, and I hope that you all use your voice and go vote, because without your voice and without your vote, nothing changes. So please go out and vote. We have refreshments. Please stay, meet Simi, come chat, mingle, and we will see you soon. Drive safe. And it has been my honor this evening to be your host. And one last thing, we would love your support if you want to grab some lawn signs for your homes to put it out there to support Simi.
Try this one. Let's. Please, hello. Please pick up a lawn sign. It's free. We do not need donations for the lawn sign, so please pick up a lawn sign or two. We would really appreciate if you can please pick up a lawn sign. Thank you very much.
Hello.